VCs often like to follow the public sector, so that's good news. I've used this before here in Edmonton, just our thoughts on the nanotechnology evolution. There's a big hype in around 2001. If you put nano in front of your public company name, you doubled your valuation, and that never really materialized. So there was a bit of realization and bust in the market. But now we're seeing nanotechnology being applied in many, many applications. You're not really seeing it or hearing it as nanotechnology, but it's being used in, battery. Virtually every battery company now is using nanotechnology. Industrial biotech, print electronics, energy storage, thin film. All of these markets are relying on nanotechnology, and ACAMP, is a big player in this area, and this is going to be important in NINT and other groups here in Edmonton. So I just throw a few slides up of clean tech trends, things that we see as big over the next couple of years. Transportation is receiving a huge chunk of VC dollars. The HEV, hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, plug-in electric vehicles. Here's the Tesla and the Volt. They're nice looking cars, and at some point we'll all be able to afford them. Energy storage is probably one of the hottest areas for VC money right now. There's a battery on the left, so the cathode, anode, and electrolytes need improvement. Nanotechnology is being used to improve performance, and cathode materials are receiving about half of all battery patents lately, so that's a big area. Supercapacitors, really, those don't hold a lot of charge, but they emit a lot of power, sort of bursts of power. So you'd have smaller batteries and combine them with supercapacitors. So when you hit a hill, it can boost you up the hill. So those are being used, and there's some great technology coming out in supercapacitors. We love green buildings. I'm surprised at the number of speakers that talked about green buildings. We have a company doing energy efficient smart windows. These are a lot of low-hanging fruit. 70% of all North American electricity is consumed in buildings, and about 40% of CO2 emission comes from buildings. So in the clean tech world, this is big, and it's not generating energy, it's saving energy. You got insulation and LED lighting, great areas for investment. I'll be quick here. Biomass, this came up earlier. Corn-based biomass is really out. No VCs investing in that so much anymore, but there's lots of other types of biomass conversion that is receiving lots of money, like cellulosic ethanol. White industrial biotech, a great place for VCs to invest. Green chemistry, making chemicals that previously were made out of petroleum products. We have a surprising amount of deal flow in this area, and there's a company just last minute addition to the BANT Venture Forum that's going to be talking about that. And the electronic applications. There is a sort of burgeoning electronics market in Edmonton. There's a lot of applications in electronics that are cleaner. Electronics is traditionally a very dirty, nasty industry, and if you can reduce the amount of hazardous materials, clean process like OLEDs, print electronics, thin film solar, it's great from a clean tech perspective, and we've got investments in there. So what about solar? This was a super hot area for VC investment. In Q3 of 08, there was over $1 billion put in VC money, and that just dropped off significantly. So clean tech's not as big as it was last year for VC money. And why is that? Well, the Chinese are dumping solar cells on the market. Silicon prices have plummeted in the last 6 months, and you got companies like First Solar that was mentioned. I love First Solar. I think it's an amazing company, but their cost of goods sold now is 87 cents. So for an early stage company, it's really hard to compete with that. We think solar is a great market. It's just become more tough in the last 6 months to succeed. So the amount of VC dollars has fallen off quite a bit. So that's all I got to present, and